politically. There's extremists in every walk of life. Now, if let's say for instance a black guy, not a terrorist or nothing like that, a black guy kind of went into a shop with a shotgun, robbed the place, old woman, and then like cold-bloodedly, as he was walking out with his takings, killed her. You'd get people that would say, you know what, these black guys, blah blah blah. Now, you got to remember that situation, that scenario could happen with an Asian guy. It could happen with a black guy. It could happen with a mixed race guy. It could happen with a white guy. It could happen with a female. It could happen with a male. What you got to understand is, we as a society have got to stop tarring people with the same brush. Every single person is an individual. Every person is an individual, yeah? So that's just like saying like the Philpotts guy that burnt down his family and things like that. That's just like black people saying something along the lines of see them white guys, like black guy wouldn't do that. Of course they would. A black guy would do what they done, and a white guy would do what they. You understand? It's the same principle. I'm trying to give people the perspective from both sides. Now the whole. Let me go back again to the whole BBC and the scandal and whatnot, like all the paedophilia and things like that. Now we all know there was all white guys. There's not black people in this country saying, see, all white people, paedophiles, blah blah blah. No one ain't saying that. Do you understand? Because everyone knows that you can get paedophiles in from any race, and there's a lot of Asian guys at the minute that are going to court for the same sort of scenario where they kind of had an 11-year-old girl or something for a period of time. But what I'm trying to say to you is, yes, black people could be paedophiles, Asian people could be paedophiles, white people could be paedophiles, but not one group can be sort of put into the bracket of that colour, that crease, that race is a paedophile, that colour, that crease, that race is a terrorist. The biggest terrorist in this world is the Illuminati. Now, like I said, somebody's like, what's the Illuminati? Just type it in YouTube and you'll soon see. That's the biggest terrorist. And because of them, they have then sort of, through their actions over the hundreds of years, through their action, they have then made these Muslim extremists and all that. These Muslim extremists, you think, oh, we hate America. You hear them say we hate America. They're not talking about American citizens or we hate Britain. They're talking about the people that run the country. Some of these extremists don't even know kind of what they're being extreme about. They're just jumping on a bandwagon. But the people that are extremists and they're not hating the civilians or the general population of England or America. They're hating the people controlling the countries, because they know, the Muslims know that they're being set up. 9/11, they got set up. 7/7, another setup. Those 4 Asian guys that you saw, they was part of they thought they was part of a mock terrorist attack. So they was told, obviously, it's a mock terrorist attack at the exact same train stations. They was told that you lot need to be here at a certain time. It's all part of the exercise, blah blah blah. So they was none the wiser. So yes, those Asian guys for the 7/7 London bombings, yeah, they were on camera and things like that. But what you don't know is that they was, in their mind, they was part of a mock terrorist attack on this country at those exact same train stations. To make it sort of, make the story, it's not even watertight, because like I said, I've sort of dissected it already, but to make the story on the outset look convincing and whatnot, they had to have these Muslim guys congregate in Birmingham, get on the train and go to these individual stations, because like I said, these guys thought that they were taking part in a mock terrorist attack. Listen to what I'm saying to you, because some of you now are thinking, right, I didn't know that. You understand? I didn't know that. So do your homework. Like I said, whatever I say is you don't need to, but just don't dismiss me. Don't dismiss me. Just go and do your homework. I'm trying to think what else I want to kind of touch on. It's what I don't feel comfortable with is that these obvious, like, not the 7/11, because like I said, that was set up better. That kind of put people in places, but the whole 9/11 sort of thing, with experts saying that couldn't have happened in regards to the way the towers collapsed, and that couldn't have happened. I heard someone say the other day, this is an expert, that the second plane that crashed into the towers was it was registering speeds of like 580 miles an hour. Now, the plane that was allegedly crashed into those towers cannot go any faster than 400 miles an hour maximum at sea level. Do you understand? People have said, eyewitnesses saying, listen, there weren't no second plane. I saw something, but that weren't a plane. Yeah? So, like I said, go and do your research. Then the Pentagon. Eyewitnesses once again have said, listen, I didn't see no plane. You understand? There's no plane. The 48 or whatever cameras from petrol stations, whatnot, all of them was kind of rounded up, and no one's seen any footage of the so-called aeroplane crashing into the Pentagon. Now, if you've seen the scene of the Pentagon, you'll see that there's no engines, there's no, you understand, there's no traces at all of any aeroplane ever crashing there. Something crashed there, maybe it was a missile or something like that, but there was definitely no traces of an airplane. Now, experts will dissect this and go out there and say, listen, that couldn't have happened, blah blah blah. Then you'll get people online that kind of shut them down. These people are put in place to shut down. When people start speaking the truth in it, they have to shut them down. It's like, just through these videos and that, I'll get a random, you don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. Or if I was in a forum and there was a lot of people sort of taking on board what I said, and then all of a sudden you get some random person that no one don't know just saying like, no, blah blah blah, and trying to give you facts and a lot of they'll come with a lot of words and a lot of theories and to make you think, actually, yeah, it makes sense now, like blah blah blah. So they kind of take you off the scent, but they do it in a very smart way. But like I said, the facts are there for everyone to see. There's not just one video or one person or one expert. There's thousands that have taken apart that whole story and said, listen, this is rubbish. This is rubbish. But I don't think it needs anyone to do it when you can clearly see. I'm not a demolition expert, but I know for a fact, if I crash a plane into a building that high and hit it near the top, how is it just going to come down like that? How is it going to come down? There's people that was working in the building at the time, firemen are saying, listen, I heard so many explosions, but we've been led to believe that the plane crashes into the building just disintegrates. It's not possible. It ain't possible, and you don't have to be any demolition expert to know that. Now, obviously yesterday the video I put on was 6 minutes. This is a longer video. But yeah, I don't like people that kind of just watch it and like it or do something about it. It doesn't make no sense, and or at least kind of watch it, comment, say, listen, I watched it. Some of what you're saying is kind of, it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. Or some people say, oh yeah, I've been intrigued by this sort of thing for years now. Take that sort of intrigue to research. Don't just kind of think, well, I've heard it and whatnot. If you hear something, then that's something that's so serious, then why would you not sort of at least try and find out a bit more about it? It's like if there was a newspaper story about something that we'd never sort of heard of or whatnot, like let's say for instance on the front page of the Sun, someone said, "Oh, a UFO sighting," people would think, "Wow, like it's on the front page of the newspaper. I'm going to read about this." So that mentality should go even further with this video. You should think to yourself, this guy he's not famous, he's not in the public eye, he ain't no one, you understand? But he's now taking the time to put a video, and like I said, I'm putting myself out there. Like some people, there's too many people that through the conditioning as growing up and things like that, we're led to believe that anything like this is people just being crazy. But like I said, use that sort of intrigue that you would normally use in a lot less serious issues. Use that intrigue from this video and just look up. I'll tell you, let me give you some things to look up just to make it easier. Illuminati, yeah? Type it in and there'll be thousands of videos. Just type in Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo was a movie producer. He produced Trading Places. He started out with his own club in Chicago. So he's a credible, intelligent guy. He died of cancer. But what he had to say kind of, anyone that watches that and realizes his character would then think, wow. So he's got a lot to say. So type in Aaron Russo, David Icke. David Icke, there's a lot on of stuff with David Icke. Like I said, with David Icke, I personally, some of it is hard to comprehend. And that's even for me as a person that kind of knows what's going on. So if you're one of these people that's, like I said, you ain't got a clue and now you're listening to me, I would recommend you don't go straight to David Icke. Go to Aaron Russo first. Go to Aaron Russo. So type in Aaron Russo, David Icke, Illuminati, New World Order. Type in birth certificate. Some of you are going to think, what does he mean? Years ago, there was no such thing as a birth certificate. Birth certificates were introduced to, like I said, some of the, I can't elaborate too much on things I don't know about, so I'm not going to sort of speculate. But birth certificates, because I'm still researching it now, was sort of brought into the world to somehow they generate. When you're born, your birth certificate generates money, not for you. It has value. It's worth something, not to you, but to someone else. You understand? So even for me saying that, you should think to yourself, this is relevant to me because I have a birth certificate. So even that there, type in birth certificate. This is another thing, is that the Illuminati, you understand, they want total power. Their take is that this planet is overpopulated by billions. It's overpopulated and they want to decrease those numbers. So this is my take. So all this famine and starvation and things like that, how can that be happening in 2013? How can you spend the amount that was spent on war in 2012? Apparently it would take less, slightly less than what was spent on war to fully eradicate poverty and starvation and famine and things like that. So you got to ask yourself, why is there people in this day and age starving? Why are babies dying every 4 seconds? Now, like I said, I'm going to say something now that this is I've never heard it anywhere. I personally think that AIDS, listen to me, so don't take this as my final statement and think, okay, no. I personally think that AIDS was produced. I think AIDS was produced. AIDS was created, and it was created to aid the, you know, like I said, that the Illuminati want to lessen the numbers in this world by billions. So one way of doing it, this is my take, like I said, is that if you create something that can kill, it can kill like instantly, and it can be passed on as well, then that is sort of helping you to your plan of eradicating the numbers. So like I said, that might sound crazy to you. It don't sound crazy to me. And this is my intuition into that, the theory of AIDS, is that I don't think that there will ever be a cure for AIDS, but I think that the cure is just as simple as the production. And like I said, I think it was produced. So, but there's no money in the cure. You've got to think all this AIDS research, and cancer's another thing. I don't think cancer will be fully sort of cured, because there's no money in the cure. So with AIDS, like I said, AIDS is doing two things. It's raising money for the wrong people, and it's also eradicating per day thousands of people. So ask yourself that question: how can people be dying every single second in Africa through AIDS, and how can people be starving in Africa? So not only are they having to fight against famine and starvation, it's AIDS as well. So please do your research, do your homework, and like I said, that theory on AIDS is my theory. But I know that some people will look at that and think, well, he's talking rubbish. And then some people think, you know what? That makes sense. That actually makes sense. And that's my aim. My aim is to kind of educate people. But I personally would rather you watch this video, then just let me know that you watched the video, pass on the video, and then go and do your own research and say to me, listen, I've watched the video from start to finish, and now because of that, I'm going to do my research. You understand? Because personally, I don't really need to be putting videos out there, because there's more than enough. And like I said, there's people, credible people, famous people, that have got a lot to say, and they're in the industry. You understand? They're part of the industry, so they've experienced certain people. They've had certain approaches and things like that. Now, the whole Jay-Z and Beyonce, I don't know about none of that. I don't know about Rihanna and all this sort of, they're Illuminati and all that. Sometimes I think, like, with that, people will see a video and then they would dissect it. But what you got to realize is that Jay-Z potentially could be part of the Illuminati, because he's very, very rich, he's very, very powerful, and he has a lot of followers. So you understand, there's a big chance that he could be part of the Illuminati. But like I said, some people will kind of, they get it twisted. They get the whole Illuminati thing twisted and think it's music videos, play the song backwards, and it says this, and look at what they're doing, and slow it down, and you understand all that. Sometimes that's people just being stupid and taking it to the extreme. And like I said, there's extremists in all walks of life, and there is extremist conspiracy theorists that kind of put 2 and 2 together and get like 7. This is not about that. This is about just educating yourself and think to yourself certain things that have happened. And I'll use 9/11 as a sort of as a general point, that you all know, anyone with a quarter of a brain will know that what happened that day couldn't have went down like that. Remember, America is the most powerful country in the world, but yet all of their security and whatnot was breached that day by the Pentagon, the 2 planes in the Twin Towers, and what other people are probably unaware of is that day the 16, is it 16? Yeah, the 16. They've got fighter jets that operate in 2 to kind of, for these sort of situations, they take out the plane before it can cause that sort of. Do you understand? Like they're on hand to take out and intercept any sort of terrorist attack or whatnot. coincidentally, on that day, they was doing a mock, same as 7/7, a mock terrorist attack. So everyone was confused as to when they finally got the heads up about the Twin Towers. They was unsure whether it was real and or was it part of the exercise and things like that. There's footage, I've heard footage where the pilot says, "Is this real or is this part of the exercise?" And then the guy says, "No, it's real." But by then it was too late. So you got to think to yourself, how was a security breach, and then how comes there's so many sort of how come so many things kind of conspired to enable these terrorists? There weren't no terrorists. There weren't no terrorists. The biggest terrorists in this world is the Illuminati and those that kind of work for them. So there's not really, like I said, there's a lot I could say, but then I could be all day, and I don't want to do that. I just hope that some of the things that I touched upon, and like I said, I'm going to be going here, there, whatever, because it's not scripted. It's not I don't have something planned and say, okay, I'm going to, you understand, A, B, C, I'm going to read it like that. So I might repeat myself, I might blab on and whatnot, but the main point of this video is to people to kind of open your eyes, do your research. New World Order, birth certificate, Illuminati, secret societies, Aaron Russo, David Icke. There's so much more. There's a lot more, and just look it up. Do your homework, please. And like I said, what I would like is for people to kind of comment and then say, listen, even if your comment says, listen, I've watched your thing, it's kind of, it definitely intrigues me, and because of that I'm gonna do some research. Don't just like the video, or don't just like, if I'm putting up statuses and what, don't just like it. That's nothing, in it. That's really just kind of burying your head in the sand. We're smarter as a human race. We're smarter than kind of we've been conditioned to think we are. So yeah, I'm hoping that this video gets more, I'll get more feedback from this video than the last one, and I know it's going to take 42 minutes of your time, but just take the time and let me know kind of what you intend to do after watching this video. So yeah, I'll hopefully hear from people soon.